Hey there everyone, this video is for the 607 lesson, the Post-Cold War World Part 1. The post-Cold War era brought new challenges, new situations, and even new geography. Countries that had once been a part of the former Soviet Union struggled to assert their independence and establish their governments. Conflict erupted as various ethnic and religious groups renewed old hatreds in the former USSR and Yugoslavia. The Cold War was over, but the new era was no less complicated. Goals for this lesson: identify and map areas of tension in Europe after 1990, and summarize the recent history of key nations of Eastern Europe, and summarize major issues in Eastern Europe that influence U.S. foreign policy. And remember to go to lesson resources and get your sheet Tension in Eastern Europe and also the lesson answer key. And let's begin. What we have to do today is complete the Eastern Europe and Beyond online map activity, complete the Tension in Eastern Europe sheet, and take the 607 quiz. Begin today's lesson by completing the Eastern Europe and Beyond map activity. So let's look at this. Learn more about the tension areas in Eastern Europe by clicking the pop-ups. So let's start over here on the left. Croatia. Capital, Zagreb. Population, roughly 4 million. GDP per capita, about rounded up about $10,000. Government type is a presidential parliamentary democracy, and it gained its independence from Yugoslavia in 1991. U.S. relations. With an embassy in Zagreb since 1992, the United States seek to support a secure, democratic society and market economy in Croatia, with the hope that Croatia will become a strong member of Euro-Atlantic organizations. Okay, now let's look at Bosnia and Herzegovina. Capital, Sarajevo. The population is roughly almost 4 million. GDP per capita is about $2,000. Not very much there. Government type, Federal Democratic Republic, and they received their independence from Yugoslavia in 1992. U.S. relations. Between 1992 and 1995, Bosnia and Herzegovina fought a civil war over ethnic differences. Muslim Slavs, the Bosniaks, and Roman Catholic Croats wanted independence from Yugoslavia, while Eastern Orthodox Serbs opposed their movement for independence. In 1995, the United States, under President Clinton, helped end the Civil War by drafting the Dayton Peace Accords at a summit in Dayton, Ohio. The United States made sure that the accords were implemented and also donated funds to help with reconstruction, humanitarian assistance, economic rebuilding, and reconstruction of the military in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Let's look at Romania. The capital is Bucharest. Population, roughly 21 million. GDP per capita is $7,600. The government is a republic. It gained independence from the Soviet Union December 8, 1991. The U.S. relations. The United States has had a long history with Romania. President Clinton visited Bucharest in 1997 to discuss mutual U.S.-Romanian goals, including political and economic development, reform of defense systems, and new threats in the modern era. Since the 9/11 terrorist attacks on U.S. soil, Romania has been very supportive of U.S. anti-terrorism efforts. In 2002, President Bush praised a post-communist Romania on its building of a democracy and a market economy. Today, the United States and Romania have a cooperative agreement that allows U.S. troops to use military facilities on Romanian soil. Ukraine. Capital of Kiev. Population 47 million. GDP per capita $4,500. Government type is a republic. Gained its independence from the Soviet Union in 1991. And Ukraine, even since this was made, this map activity here, Ukraine has been in the news quite a bit again this year in 2015. U.S. relations. The United States officially recognized Ukraine as an independent nation on December 25, 1991, and supported Ukraine's successful efforts to make the transition to a democratic state with a strong market economy. Since Ukraine's democratic Orange Revolution, a series of protests and political events occurring between November 2004 In January 2005, the United States and Ukraine have had a close cooperation and open dialogue. The U.S. policy continues to be centered on accepting and supporting a democratic, prosperous, and secure Ukraine that is closely integrated into Europe. Now let's look at Georgia. Capital, Tbilisi, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Population is 4.5 million. GDP per capita is about $4,700. Government type republic, independence from the Soviet Union, April 1991. U.S. relations. Along with other nations, the United States has assisted Georgia in promoting democratic reform, resolving regional conflicts, developing a national economy, and reducing poverty. The United States also gives substantial diplomatic and monetary support to Georgia's efforts to end the conflicts in South Ossetia and Abkhazia, and is helping Georgia and its dependence on Russian energy sources. Okay, now let's go to next. Identify areas of tension in Eastern Europe after 1990 by dragging the name to the correct location. Okay, let's start here on the left. The top one, the top left. Which of the following should be put there? I believe it was Croatia. The bottom left here, that would be Bosnia and Herzegovina. We're working with the former Yugoslav, that formerly made the former Yugoslavia, Croatia and Bosnia Herzegovina were part of the former Yugoslavia. Now we have Romania, which was its own area, but still a Soviet satellite. Then we have Ukraine, part of the former Soviet Union, as well as Georgia. Let's check. Correct. And that's the end of this map activity. Now the next thing we have to do is complete the tension in Eastern Europe activity sheet. So let's get our material. Here it is. And we go back to the lesson. We have some websites we have to look up. Focus on geography. It is said the world has become a smaller place. High-speed transportation and the internet have transformed our access to communication and information. As a result, it has become increasingly important for countries to understand one another. The National Geographic Travel and Cultures website has an extensive information bank that contains data about all the countries of the world. Looking at some of the facts offered at the site can provide a perspective for appreciating situations in faraway places. Complete the tension in Eastern European sheet using information from the following websites. Okay, so let's look at our sheet. And we're going to look at Bosnia and Herzegovina first, so we'll click on that website first. And here's a picture. Mostar's Ottoman Bridge is a hopeful link between Croats and Muslims on opposite sides. The shattering interethnic violence that came hard on the heels of the dissolution of the former Yugoslavia, sadly, is what comes to mind for many contemplating this ancient land of soaring mountains, steep valleys, and plunging Adriatic coastline. Peace in hand, Bosnians have returned to their old ways, generous, engaging, and welcoming. A visitor to the capital, Sarajevo, will find fine dining and good shopping at great prices. From the seaside to the mountains, despite the obvious vestiges of war, this land offers an endless tableau of spectacular scenery. And that is very beautiful. Now let's go to the facts. In mountainous southeastern Europe, Bosnia's Muslims, or Bosniaks, trace their ancestry to Christian Slavs who converted to Islam under the Ottomans for tax and landholding advantages. Yugoslavia recognized Bosniaks as a separate people in 1969. Muslim Slavs and Romanian Catholic Croats voted in early 1992 for independence from Yugoslavia. Most Eastern Orthodox Serbs were fiercely opposed. In the ensuing 1992 to 1995 Civil War, some 2,500 people died. The Dayton Peace Accords ended the war and partitioned the country into a Muslim Croat region and a Serbian region, the Serbian Republic. High unemployment and ethnic tensions continue to hamper the country. And it talks about the economy. Industry is steel, coal, iron ore, lead, zinc, manganese, bauxite, and vehicle assembly. Agriculture is wheat, corn, fruits, vegetables, livestock, and they export metals, clothing, and wood products. Now let's look at our sheet. What agreement ended the 1992 to 95 Civil War? What was one of the provisions of the agreement? And that agreement was the Dayton Peace Accords, and it highlighted there one of the provisions was that it partitioned the country into a Muslim Croat region and a Serbian region. And the other question lists two issues, Bosnia and Herzegovina, that continue to hamper the country into the 21st century. And it says right here, high unemployment and ethnic tensions continue to hamper the country. Now I know I'm going through the sheet pretty quickly, but remember you can also go to the lesson answer key and check your answers to make sure you have them completed correctly. Okay, now let's go on to Croatia for the next one. Croatia. Okay. Rovinj is a historic part on the western coast of the Istrian Peninsula. Okay, and let's go to facts for Croatia. A crescent-shaped country in southeast Europe, Croatia extends from the fertile plains of the Danube to the mountainous coast of the Adriatic Sea. In the Adriatic, Croatia has 1,185 islands. Many are major tourist areas. The 1991 to 1995 civil war between Croats and Serbs caused massive damage to cities and industries. War halted the tourist trade and drastically cut industrial output, including a lucrative shipbuilding business. Since the war, Croatia has progressed politically and economically. It applied for European Union membership in 2003. The economy is focused on chemicals and plastics, machine tools, fabricated metal, and electronics. Agriculture is focused on wheat, corn, sugar beets, sunflower seeds, and livestock. And exports transport equipment, textiles, chemicals, foodstuffs, and fuels. Okay, now let's look at our sheet. What main ethnic groups fought in the 1991-1995 Civil War? How did the war affect the physical and economic state of the country? And what was the question again? Let's look. What main ethnic groups? So we have Croats and Serbs as the two main ethnic groups, and that the war affected the physical and economic state of the country, halted the tourist trade, and drastically cut industrial output. Nobody wanted to go there because of the war, so it hurt tourism, and because of war, industries were not able to prosper as well. And then the other question, how has Croatia fared since the war? And it talks about they have progressed politically and economically, and they applied for European Union membership in 2003. You can also check your answers there on the answer key. Okay, now let's go to Georgia. Georgia, mountainous region. A valley provides a scenic footpath through the peaks of Georgia's Caucasus Mountains. Let's look at the facts. Georgia on the Black Sea is geographically in Asia. The mountains forming its northern border serve as a European-Asian boundary. Rich in farmland and minerals, rugged Georgia is wedged between the Caucasus Mountains and the Lesser Caucasus. Over the centuries, it has been an object of rivalry between Persia, Turkey, and Russia, and was annexed by Russia in the 19th century. After independence came in 1991, ethnic strife caused Georgia to lose control of South Ossetia in 1992 and Azbakia in 1993. Both the Osset and Azbak regions enjoyed autonomy during Soviet rule and both allied with Russia to separate from Georgia. The UN works to resolve these separatist disputes. Economy: steel, aircraft, machine tools, electrical appliances, and mining. Agriculture is focused on citrus, grapes, tea, hazelnuts, and livestock. And they export scrap metal, machinery, chemicals, fuel, re-exports, citrus, fruits, and tea. Okay, let's look at our questions then. Why has Georgia been an object of rivalry for Persia, Turkey, and Russia? And on what continent is Georgia located? Well, we said it's geographically in Asia, so that's the continent it's located on. And it has probably been an object of rivalry because it's rich in farmland and minerals. Because of Georgia's rich farmland and minerals, yes. And it says it's located in Asia, not Europe. Okay, the other question